deck with evil dead chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck charms. Oh, and good luck charms. Oh, might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Deadites on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up. Cannon fodder from your television screen with fury and force. Golan and Globus are at the helm, shipping out films that don't give a damn. Strange and bizarre, comedic, insane, and even deliciously horrific. They're busting at the seams. Cannon fodder from your theater screens with fury and force. Cannon fodder from your theater screens with fury and force.
Howdy, gang. Hey, Gory Tiger. Hey, Jay Duncan. I would agree on Nana because I just did not like Nana or Nana, as they called her in the film. But House of the Long Shadows, I enjoyed House of the Long Shadows. But we're going to get to these two movies here for this rescheduled Cannon Fodder. We're going to be talking about Hercules 1983 and The Young Warriors, also from 1983, that I did not realize that Linnea Quigley was in it, in a small role as Ginger. But we're going to get to that real soon. But I want to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way before we start talking about the movies. And hopefully I'll be able to do a They're All Messed Up tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about Seven Bloodstained Orchids and Silent Night, Bloody Night for the two movies for They're All Messed Up tomorrow night. I did have some dental work done. Hopefully it'll be my final dental work for a while, if ever. I had 2 more fillings done and some extraction of root tips. I'm doing pretty good today. Wasn't doing too bad last night, but I was wiped out. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk about these movies, but I want to invite you guys and gals, if you haven't checked out my shop, the horror shop at deaditesondeck.com, tell them Poe sent you, head on over there. I've got t-shirts, I've got hats, I've got tote bags, I've got mouse pads, I've got candles, and I've got blended teas, Booga Booga Bears, and soon to be coming to the shop site, Pyro plushies, the first of which will actually be a Poe plushie. And if you're not a horror fan, or you're a horror fan but you don't see a particular design that you like, please fill out the handy dandy form on the homepage of the shop at deaditesondeck.com. If you can remember the name of my channel on YouTube, then surely you can remember deaditesondeck.com, because that is the shop URL. So, but all you got to do is fill out that handy dandy form and tell me what it is you so desire. And the only two things I can't do or won't do is pornography. You'll have to find somebody else to do pornography on shirts and tote bags and stuff like that, and anything that would be considered illegal. But anything else is up for grabs. If you are starting your own business or a side business, or somebody in your family or a friend is starting a business and they need a logo, let me know what the logo is that you want on t-shirts or hats or whatever, and I'll work with you to see if we can come up with something that you like. So that's all about the shop. Movie roulette will be in full effect tonight because this is a live stream. And how do you play movie roulette? Well, you give a $5 or more super chat during any live stream I do. That includes watch-alongs, which we've got a couple of watch-alongs coming up this weekend. So you can look forward to that. But I lost my whole train of thought here. I was talking about movie roulette. But if you give a $5 or more super chat during this or any other live streams I do, you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to watch and do a review of on an upcoming episode of Movie Roulette. Menelect was in, and he gave a $7 super chat. Again, thank you for that, sir. And I will be doing a review of It Follows on an upcoming episode of Movie Roulette. But I usually like to do 2 movies. So if you want to give a $5 or more super chat and pick a movie, that would be great. But I just want to remind everybody that there are a lot of different ways you can support me in the channel. And several of them cost you nothing. They don't include joining the channel. They don't include giving super chats or super stickers or whatever. And one of the ways is to subscribe to the channel. If you've not subscribed already and you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe. Don't wait. Go ahead and subscribe now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content I've got coming out. If you particularly like certain videos or streams that I've done, hit that like button. All of these things get me up in the algorithms of YouTube and help the channel out and help me out. So, and all of those things don't cost you a dime. Also, you can share with friends and family members my channel that you think might be interested in the content I'm putting out. Again, that costs you absolutely nothing. It costs them nothing. And if they subscribe, hey, I've got another subscriber, because my next milestone that I want to reach is 1,000 subscribers. I've got over 950 subscribers right now. I think 953. So don't have too many more and I'll have reached 1,000 subscribers. And some people might think, well, gee, Dana, that's not really a milestone. But for me, it's a milestone. I'm really proud of the work that I've put into the channel, and I just want to keep going and keep putting out content for you guys and gals that enjoy it. So I guess that's all the housekeeping stuff for now. But, I also wanted to remind everybody that the first Friday in August will be another Evil Dead Chick Slasher Fest. It's going to be Bad Movie Night. And we're going to be watching Drive-In Massacre and Blood Cult. So you can look forward to that coming up the first Friday in August. Okay. Um, and I also want to remind you of the watch alongs this weekend. Saturday's watch along will be City of the Living Dead, aka The Gates of Hell. That will be Saturday, July 26th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday, this will be the last watch along on a Sunday for a while, unless you guys start clamoring for Sunday watch alongs again, because these apparently have kind of slid off the map. They don't seem to be as popular as the Saturday ones. So after this weekend, I'm going to cut it back to just Saturdays every other weekend. Okay, so Sunday's watch along on Sunday, July 27th will be just one of the guys, and that will also start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Now let's get to these movies for Cannon Fodder. So I don't own either one of these, so I had to get some screenshots of the posters for these films, and apparently this must be a foreign poster. I didn't notice this until just when I was putting it up there, because they don't have Hercules spelled with a C, they have it spelled with a K. This has Lou Ferrigno, it has Sybil Danning, and okay, I'm just going to get right down to the nitty gritty. I mean, yeah, it's a, Hercules story about the gods, and so Hercules in this, played by Lou Ferrigno, is apparently, I think he's in love with this princess, and he wants to protect her as well from these evil people who kidnapped the princess. And I think they're planning on doing something nefarious to her, which will culminate in them killing her. And Sybil Danning's, of course, one of the bad people in this. And Steve tells me that Cannon put out a couple of these Hercules movies, plus the 7 Gladiators, I think it was, which I've already talked about. But this is the first Hercules movie that I watched put out by Cannon. And, I'll be totally honest. I just gave you the plot right there. That's the plot, Hercules tries to protect this princess and tries to protect her from these evil people, one of which is Sybil Danning's character in the film. Not much else in the way of plot. There's a lot of sword fighting and all that good stuff, but not a really good film. Not one that I can see myself going back and watching again anytime soon, if ever. But those of you that are into stuff like this, and you're into low budget bad films like this, you may find it entertaining. I did not, but that is not to say that you guys and gals won't. You're right, Jay Duncan. You are certainly correct on that. Yeah. You can, if you've never seen this film and you're interested in checking it out, it is on Tubi. It could be on YouTube, but I know for sure that it's on Tubi right now. So if you want to, check it out, by all means, check it out. But I'll be totally honest. Jay Duncan, you say you had a lot of fun rewatching it. I like it more than the sequel or the Ferrigno Sinbad from Lake Cannon. Gotcha. And not, that's not to say that other people might not like it. I just was not a fan of it. And if for those of you that haven't seen it, or maybe you've seen it a long time ago and you want to check it out again, if you've got access to Tubi, by all means, check that sucker out. But as I was saying, I am not going to give it a very high rating. I'm not going to give it a 2, but I will give it 3 deadites out of 5 because there were some parts of it that, I found entertaining, like the bear scene that Jay Duncan mentioned. But, there's not um, a whole lot more that me personally, that I can give to this film. Okay. So the next film is Young Warriors. And this poster looks awesome. If I only saw this poster, I would definitely want to see this movie. James Van Patten plays Kevin in it, and Lockhart's in it as his girlfriend, uh, and Tom Riley. A young Linnea Quigley from 1983 is in this as well, playing a small part as Ginger. And she does get naked, folks. So for you fans of Linnea Quigley's flesh, you, you can get to see it in Young Warriors. Um, it says, meet the ultimate weapon in the fight against crime. Now, honestly, I was really excited whenever I started watching this movie because I was like, this is going to be, I thought, when I read the plot for it, that Kevin's sister, Tiffany, is assaulted, and this brutal assault on his sister leads to her death. And I don't think I'm giving anything away because if you read the plot for this movie, that's exactly what it says. So Kevin's father, played by Ernest Borgnine, and his mother is played by Linda Day George. I just can't wrap my head around the thought of Linda Day George being married to Ernest Borgnine. But anyway, she was in this movie, or her character was in this movie. Richard Roundtree is also in this, playing Ernest Borgnine's partner. But Kevin's dad is a cop, or a detective, or whatever you want to say. And after Kevin's sister, Tiffany, dies, um, Kevin gets really angry and basically loses his mind. And he's out to, take out the trash, basically. But this movie, it wasn't a bad movie, but I got depressed watching this. Yes, Jay Duncan, that's exactly right. You say a lot to unpack with Young Warriors, which I hadn't heard of before. Wild tonal shifts, unlikable main character. And the thing is, Kevin as a character, I liked him at the beginning of the movie, but as the movie went along, I'm like, this guy's totally lost his freaking mind. And he's went off the deep end. And he's taking his friends along with him. Hey, the poet. So, um, the first scene we see is kind of reminds me of the teen sex comedies of the 80s. Um, because they're graduating from high school, Malibu High School, I think. And then it shifts and they're going to college. And of course, apparently Kevin and a lot of his buddies are in a fraternity. There's a lot of hazing going on. There's a lot of hijinks going on. This is where you first see Linnea Quigley's body in the film. Uh, yeah, he's not a very he's not a character that you can get behind, Jay Duncan. I mean, he was okay at the beginning, but like I said, as the movie went along, I just could not. I lost any. I couldn't get behind him. I could not understand what he was doing. He was a very odd he had a very odd type of personality, and it got worse as the movie went on, because I've seen a lot of movies where somebody is a woman's assaulted, and if she lives, she gets revenge. If she dies, then somebody else in her family or a friend or something, like Savage Streets. This kind of started out like a Savage Streets kind of thing, where uh, Linda Blair's younger sister, played by Linnea Quigley in Savage Streets, is assaulted and beat, and ends up in the hospital, and they don't know if she's going to make it. And so Linda Blair and her friends, and one of her friends gets tossed off a bridge too. And although that movie kind of went over the top with stuff too, I don't think that the Linda Blair character just went nuts and just started killing everybody. The character of Kevin loses any cohesive quality um, at, at all. And he wasn't a very stable character to begin with. Jay Duncan is correct on that. Um, you say it kind of didn't make sense how much unsocial behavior he was getting away with in public without being arrested or institutionalized or something. Yeah, for instance, he's in a college class. He gets up in the professor's face, and he throws something through I think he throws a chair or a desk or whatever through the window, and nobody does anything to him. It's like, okay, I don't get this. And then you have a couple of scenes later where he's talking to the professor, and the professor is calm and cool and collected and all that. And it's like, what? So you are correct on that, Jay Duncan. I didn't get that either. You say, and it didn't make sense. His two friends just went along with every ridiculous thing he did. Yeah, and for each death that happened, because there's some deaths, I ain't gonna lie to you on this. And a dog is killed. I'm going to warn everybody right now. I was so freaking mad when that dog got killed, because the dog belonged to one of his fraternity brothers. And they started taking the dog with them. It's like, I said to myself before it even got to the scene where the dog got shot, I said, they keep taking that dog with them, and it's going to get killed. I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, me and you both, Jay Duncan. I could not. I mean, why would you do that? Leave the poor dog at the fraternity house. Don't bring a dog with you when you're going to go up against criminals, because guess what? Criminals have guns. And I was even more mad when one of the fraternity brothers, the one that owned the dog, was crying and cradling his poor dog, and the other guys just like mindless zombies walking around. Didn't even come over to comfort him or anything. I'm like, this is crazy. It's crazy. Yes, I agree with that too, Jay Duncan. You say, I think Savage Streets works compared to this because she only really resorts to violence over the course of like 2 hours of one night and does it alone. Yes. And here's the other thing. Kevin, like, without even thinking, him and his buddies get an arsenal of guns and grenades and all kinds of stuff. And they don't even think, and they also are not pinpointing the people that did this awful thing to his sister. They're just going out and finding so-called criminals. And there's one scene where they shoot up a convenience store and they kill a couple of kids, one of whom I think is a girl, when they take the ski mask off. This is why you don't have guns and stuff in the hands of people that don't know what they're doing. And it turned out that these two kids had toy guns. Toy guns. Should they have been doing what they were doing? No, they should not have been. But these guys shouldn't have been running around with real guns, like just shooting up every place. And they shot the whole convenience store up, too. They could have killed the owners or whatever. Um, Jay Dungy say multiple random people see the weapons and just go, "Who cares?" and move along. Yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, this is a case of taking the law into your own hands and it going horribly wrong, is what this is. Um, and then I'm not going to tell you the final scene, but the final scene, and Jay Duncan knows his final scene. I was like, what the hell? Just I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to give the whole film away in case some of you want to go out and seek this out. This is on YouTube. It's a bad VHS rip. Your eyes are probably going to hurt after you finish watching it. But if you can't find it anywhere else and you want to watch it, you can watch it on YouTube. But folks, I mean, this could have been a much better movie if they hadn't done some of the things that they had done in this movie. Jay Duncan is right on all the things they brought up. I totally, totally agree with that. So, I mean, I'm not going to say Young Warriors is a horrible, horrible movie. But to have something start out like it's a teen sex comedy and then move into this very dark area and then just let it keep spiraling out of control is not a real good idea for a film. Jay Duncan, you say you hope they put this on Blu-ray at some point. Weird, memorable movie with so many odd choices. Yes. So, y'all are going to think this is weird, but based on the content, it just could have been handled better, folks. It really could have been handled better. I'm going to give this one a half more star, 3.5 deadites out of 5. I know, I don't have the half on there yet, folks. But I would suggest, seriously, if you want to watch this film, watch it when you're in a really, really good mood because it takes you into some very, very dark places and it doesn't let up. And like I said, that final scene is a WTF moment. There's no doubt about that. But I don't want somebody not to watch it. If they want to watch it, just beware that it really goes into some dark places. There's a death of a dog in it. And for you dog lovers like I am, or animal lovers in general, that part is definitely hard to watch. Even though I know a real dog wasn't killed, it's still hard to watch. I've always said about horror movies, and this is not a horror movie, but I've said about horror movies in the past, and I continue to stand by this. You can kill as many people as you want to in a horror movie, but when you start killing dogs and cats and other little critters, that's where I draw the line. Not a fun movie. Yes, that's exactly right. Not a fun movie, but interesting, I think. Yes, Jay Duncan, that is a good look at this movie, a good evaluation of this movie. So, gang, I guess that is it for me for tonight's Cannon Fodder. I want to thank Jay Duncan. I always have a great conversation with Jay Duncan when they're in here because they always, keep me on my toes for one thing, and we always have good discussion in here. But I also want to thank the poet for stopping in and Gory Tiger for stopping in. Oh, you're welcome, Jay Duncan. You say, thank you for the stream. Look forward to the next canon stream. Yeah, hopefully next week on Wednesday, I'll be able to do another canon fodder for you folks. But I also want to thank anybody that was in here that maybe didn't feel comfortable chatting, but that was watching me as I talked about these movies. And also, I want to thank people in advance that will watch this on the replay that maybe didn't get a chance to watch me live. That's the great thing about YouTube. If there can be some great things, sometimes I complain about YouTube, but there are good things about it. Is that you can always watch it on the replay, folks. So if you couldn't stay for the whole duration of it, what the heck? You can watch it at your leisure on YouTube. And I guess that is it for me for this edition of Cannon Fodder. As always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.